In their infinite wisdom, the Supreme Court of Canada upheld a decision to force Jordan Peterson to re-education training. And in a hilarious twist, there's no educators to be found. Now, if you've been living under a rock for the past several years, Jordan Peterson has been under an attack from the College of Psychologists of Ontario to undergo re-education training. They wanted to shut him down. They wanted to just basically end his career, cancel culture, if you will, using the College of Psychologists to do so, weaponizing this institution. Now, Jordan Peterson fought them every step along the way and went all the way to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court, surprising to everybody across the world, upheld the decision by the court the College of Psychologists of Ontario. Now, in a hilarious twist, of course, there's nobody stepping up to the plate to become the re-educator, even though Jordan Peterson is under a 3-month deadline to have his re-education administered. Now, of course, he's writing this article. I encourage everyone to go over and read the article in its entirety. If you've read anything from Jordan Peterson, you know he has a particular way of a style of writing, and it's fantastic and it's great. And you got to hear Jordan Peterson's voice in your head when you're reading it. But I want to take a step back and say, it's probably thanks to the expose of people like Matt Walsh, for example, to show what this re-education training is actually all about. Now, he did this film recently, Am I Racist?, where he becomes a DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion trainer in this film. And he goes about learning about the process of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and all of this re-education training that has been coming from the woke left in recent times. And he puts it on blast. He puts it absolutely on blast by embarrassing it, simply by exposing it. And of course, Rotten Tomatoes, the viewing audience, giving a 97% with over 2,500 verified ratings. Scathing. It's an amazing review. It's an amazing review. And even what is generally the woke reviewers of this still at 71%. So that is quite impressive, and it's impressive for good reason, because what it is it's just airing. This is sunlight, and this is the great disinfectant of airing what is actually being said. And that was actually the point of Jordan Peterson in this, because he said he's going to make this very public, and this is what is causing people, in my opinion, of why they're not coming forward to be the re-educators of Jordan Peterson. Now, the article goes on to talk about, with their jaws wide open in amazement, the truth came out so painfully out, and this is the main point of this massive. Despite pursuing me for nearly 10 years, despite their endless public proclamations about their readiness to dispense justice upon me, despite their insistence of the mavens of the college that I was in desperate need of pretty much a comprehensive psychic restructuring and public shaming, despite my agreement, private and public, to go ahead with exactly that, in pillories and stock, accepting the tar and chicken feathers, there was not a single viable social media expert available at hand to take on the task. This should be this could be a consequence of a direct warning that I had made in a very public discussion about this matter with my daughter, Michaela Fuller, posted to my YouTube channel, where I said, with all due and genuine concern for my hypothetical teacher, something approximating, "Don't take the job. I'll make it every bit of it public, and in the most broadly distributed sort of way. Millions of people are hungry to watch me be re-educated. Friend and foe alike, popcorn in hand, eating up both the scandal and the snack. In consequence, the life of whoever is narcissistic, clueless, or ideologically addled enough to take on the task will never be the same. I meant this wholeheartedly, seriously, and it was all objections to the contrary, not a threat but a true warning. The typical person has no idea what it is like to have their identity known to all on an international scale. I'm speaking here of the hypothetical re-educator. And yeah, I regarded it as necessary to offer fair warning to anyone considering the job. It will be an experience from which recovery will be at all possible, will not be at all possible, which is absolutely a fair warning from Dr. Peterson here. So many people around the world have his back, but of course, this is at the hands of the Supreme Court and the College of Psychologists and a handful of anonymous complainants that came out and complained to the college about things that he didn't do in his professional capacity. No. They didn't complain about, these weren't previous customers of his or previous patients of his that sat on the couch in his clinical studies. No. This is people who anonymously complained about the things that he had to say on Joe Rogan and things that he had to say on Twitter or in other publications. This is where they're at, and this is them trying to weaponize the system, and Jordan Peterson coming back and saying, okay, have your way with me, because I'm not going to go down sitting. I'm going to fight this every step of the way, and I'm going to showcase your re-education. And this is fantastic. It is so good. Later in the article, he says, so that's where we stand, Canadians. In closing, I'm going to outline what I think of my esteemed colleagues and self-proclaimed moral superiors at the college, now bound to do out of options, as they now stupidly find themselves unable to find a social media expert willing to engage in my re-education. They will appoint one of their own or a minion thereof to take on the task. In doing so, they will attempt to arrange with me nothing but a heartfelt conversation of relatively short duration, which I will still make entirely public, but which will contain nothing but cliched niceties on their part, which they will then claim in their own defense that all the college wanted all along was nothing but just such a dialogue, that all of this was just a big misunderstanding, and that the evil and touchy Dr. Peterson, such a publicity hound and paranoid to boot, blew entirely out of proportion. This is a great viewpoint, in my opinion, from Jordan Peterson of what they will possibly try to do. Now, of course, the dialogue was always there. The dialogue was always on the side of Jordan Peterson to say, come forward, anonymous minions, anonymous complainants, come forward and discuss this with me. If you want to have a dialogue, let's have a dialogue. But why are you, they put him through absolute turmoil, drug him through the judicial system, cost him thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, unbelievable amounts of money, of which he points out in this article, most people would have caved in his situation and just taken the licking, lost their career and all of this stuff, of which this is great. This is great that Jordan Peterson is taking the stand, because he's taking the stand in cases where people otherwise would not be able to. Mark my words, he says. How do I know they will do this? Because one, it is the stupidest outcome I can possibly imagine, and therefore is the most likely in this increasingly clown world that Canada has become. Absolutely has become. And two, because that is what I would do if I was at my most conniving and malevolent in their now so uncomfortable position. So this is where we stand entirely with this whole thing. The cowards that were hiding behind anonymity, fighting Jordan Peterson by using and weaponizing the College of Psychologists of Ontario, are now too cowardice to come forward and re-educate him. Why? Because it might be known who they are. I love this. I love the outcome of this, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about this in the comment section down below. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this whole idea of anonymously trying to cancel people using defying institutions that are supposed to be there to protect individuals, say against a psychologist who's, you know, abusing people. No, they're using this to abuse the psychologists that come out and they don't have the political opinions that, well, maybe the members of that college would prefer, but that is the point of free speech. And this is why Jordan Peterson has been fighting for free speech ever since. And you'll see me fighting for that here on this channel. So leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. And of course, we'll see you in the next one. We'll see you tonight live on the show. Marty Up North is going to be coming on, and we probably have some other good guests. So yeah, make sure the notification bell is rung so you'll get notified when we go live. We'll see you soon. Keep on trucking.